Greetings and salutations, people. Welcome back to another episode of the Sheet Tech Show for a special Tuesday edition. I am, as ever, joined by the magnanimous Demo on the other end of the pond. Demo, how's it going today?
Hello everyone. How is going? For the first time for after a while, we are live on a Tuesday instead of a Monday. We needed to load out some shit because some stuff was happening during yesterday and today. A lot of stuff we're gonna talk later on. How was your weekend and last week, Vic?
Pretty good. Pretty good. It was 4th of July. It was American Independence Day a little while ago, so shot off a bunch of fireworks, had a bunch of colorful drones in the sky, and a whole bunch of people just shot firearms as well, because that's what you do in America. How was your weekend?
Yeah, weekend was pretty good. Pretty rainy one for once. Wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. Perfect timing to just stay in and play some games. And with the new month came the new PlayStation Plus free games arrived as well. And I was playing this little indie game called Jusand. Pardon me, my French accent is terrible. It's a quite good little game. So I posted some clips on my TikTok as well. It's like a climbing games where you're on the bottom of this tower and you get this little monster or little magic creature called a ballast, and you need to help him to go all the way to the top of the tower to, well, I can't tell you, otherwise I will
Don't
ruin
spoil it.
the games in case you want to ever play it. The scenarios of the games are quite amazing. It's how you climbing up to the tower, you can see the view of all the surrounding and how the path you need to climb. And it will remind when you actually go rock climbing with all the position of the rocks, etc. And the other things was very surprising of this game is the soundtrack. The soundtrack was pretty awesome. Like all the sounds of from the little birds of something walking on through the rocks to the music itself was quite amazing. A little game I discovered and I wouldn't expect I would like it so much. I already finished the games. I think I'll got one more achievement to unlock the platinum trophies in the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Your dog's angry.
Yeah, she comes to say hello. She wanna play a little bit
Okay. Right on. Right on.
or escape from the heat.
I had never heard of this game until you brought it up. And I feel like there's a whole lot of these really cool artistic indies that are like really good short stories, or like a really good movie. It's just like a one and done kind of thing. Journey is a good one. Sable is a good one. Neva is a good one. But
Yeah,
these are unique to indies. These are unique. It's like a very unique kind of game style. How would this apply to like Web3? Could Web3 ever pull off a short story of a game that's just meant to be enjoyed once or twice and then you step away from it?
well, I think like Web3 could do something like that, but especially if they involve more assets as NFTs, skins or items, then you can use like in different games. Like if they open more like a multiverse where you play one games, you buy the games, you finish the game, get something that after would be included in a lot of other different games, then yes, you can like do a single story games. But if how they doing at the moment, every single Web3 games is like online games where you play against other players. You need to get like resources or whatever to trade or buy or resell. There's never nothing like you get in the game and say, ah, yeah, I want to really keep this one. I really wanted to play that game and get this so I can play in another games.
Right.
Like we talk about that like a million of times, like how Fortnite, for example, is doing it with like integrating IPs from all other games and everywhere. But imagine like you can have Lara Croft, Fortnite characters only if you finish Tomb Raider game. It would be completely different.
So, all right, so it would be part of a larger ecosystem. It would be. I feel like that's where the decentralized identity comes in. Because if your gamer tag is blockchain, then yeah, it just identifies that you've played a bunch of these cool artistic short story games, and it gives you cool artistic short story stuff. Like, yeah, what if you unlock? What if it's like Astrobot? What if you like unlock levels
Astrobot, yeah.
based on the games that you've beaten? So you don't get the Tomb Raider levels unless you've beaten Tomb Raider. You don't get the Jak and Daxter and the Ratchet and Clank levels unless you beat those games. So it has to fit into something larger. All right, that makes sense. That's cool. Yeah, no, cool game.
That would be like pretty cool as well. Like if you played a certain kind of games. That's what you do. Like when you're like a kid, normally you have games. Your friends got the other games, and you say, "Oh yeah, if I give you this game, can you give me your games?" And we play each other, and after I give you back, and after you retrade with another player, would be. And Nintendo's doing something like that with a new Nintendo Switch. But only like family things, so you can't like unplay it to everyone. But it would be nice, like I play these games, and I finish the games, and I unlock the skin, and I got the skin. But you really like this skin, but you don't really like that game, or it's too hard for you to finish it. So I don't mind it, and I can pass it to you. Like I can trade it to you for something else I don't have, and that would be like. Could be like very popular, especially like with younger age where they can't buy every single games, and they can with friends. I'll give you my skin, you gave me your skin, and I'll play for a bit, and after when I'm bored, I'll give you back your skin, and I'll trade with another friend for another skin.
Absolutely. I think last year when Web3 gaming was really popping off, I think we had a couple of times where that was happening. Not anymore, obviously, but all right, dopeness. I mean, we can't. We'll jump on from Jusant to game announcements instead, or game launches. We've got the big one, which is more up your alley. I'm not much of a Nintendo or a Donkey Kong guy, no offense, but Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's a big one.
Donkey Kong Bonanza coming the 17th of this month.
Yeah.
That's mean next week. That's the first Donkey Kong 3D games. So normally we saw Donkey Kong only like on a 2D platforms. We saw him like a 3D version of it, maybe in a Super Mario Bros. Smash and stuff like games like that. But this one is actually a full adventure platform based on Donkey Kong's, and will be very interesting how it's gonna hit on the Switch 2. Because at the moment, Switch 2 is doing pretty good sales as well. A lot of skepticism was at the start, where a lot of people say, "Oh, it wouldn't do as good as Switch 1," but it's actually matching up the sales of the Switch 1, I think.
It's crushing.
And they only launched a few titles.
Yeah. It's look, the Switch 2 broke all sorts of records, so clearly people like the hardware. I didn't know that this is the first fully like open world 3D platformer of Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
that's pretty cray. They're going.
That's why a lot of big fans are very waiting this game.
Gotcha.
They're really, it's one of the most anticipated games. Everyone wanna try and smash rocks.
Interesting.
With a good old Donkey Kong.
It's like Sonic. It's like, instead of being in 2D Sonic all the time and being on like maps all the time, then they made Sonic Frontiers and started doing Sonic open world 3D shit.
Yeah,
that's cool, bro.
You remind me a lot an older PlayStation games, PlayStation 4 games called Knack. I don't know if you've played, where you are like a little kind of monster and you can become bigger, and when you become big you can smash rocks and everything. You look like when you go on steroids, you become the bigger version, like the Hulk version. You can destroy everything. Well, here with Donkey Kong, you're always on steroids, so you can continue breaking stuff like non-stop.
I'm down. It looks pretty cool. Like I said, I've never been much of a Donkey Kong guy, but like, looks pretty cool. Big stuff. Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yeah, had you were talking about another upcoming games earlier.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it, and you've very surprised me.
Well, I mean, it's always up to Shinji Hashimoto to tell us what's going on in the real games that we care about, Demo. But no, Resident Evil is going mobile. So we had Shinji come out here and give an announcement that they have embarked on a new, fresh take on the franchise. They're dropping Resident Evil Survival Unit, which, from what they've said in this GamesBeat article, is that it's, while distinct from Capcom's traditional Resident Evil series, it delivers a unique experience that stays true to the essence of the franchise. Meaning, it's not going to be the traditional survival horror that we're used to that Resident Evil has given, where we're following a character and it's moving through and we're getting a story. In my guesstimation, in my educated hypothesis of gamingness, I believe this is going to be like an XCOM kind of game. I believe this would be like a strategy kind of shooter where you have like an umbrella corps, or you have like a unit, and that unit is moving through an area, and you direct each unit to go to different areas, and then like battle enemies in that area. Like XCOM was a really cool game, really cool strategy kind of game. Like
So
that.
do you think it's gonna be more like a multiplayer games where like people need to match and make a little team and go through levels or
Yes.
hordes of zombies?
Yes. It's supposed to, from the little that we know, it's supposed to take place in Raccoon City, and people believe it is supposed to sync up with Resident Evil 9. So the story of Resident Evil 9, which also revisits Raccoon City for the first time, this is supposed to also take place in Raccoon City. So they're meant to kind of be hand in hand. I don't know. Maybe they're going for the Fallout Shelter kind of route, which is...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like with the word unit, they might need to, or like the Walking Dead games. You remember,
Right.
like with the Walking Dead, where you have your camp and you need to like build your walls, build your civilization, and try to respond against like the hordes of zombie attacking. I think you could get attacked from other players as well.
That makes
So
sense.
it could be like, yeah, more like a strategy games, and it could be more very suitable for mobiles.
I think so.
So we saw also like you mentioned Fallout Shelters. They done like so many downloads, and it's been alive for how long? 10,
Yeah.
15, 20 years.
Yeah.
They've been for ages,
I don't...
and people still playing it.
I don't know. I haven't checked out the world of mobile gaming in a long time, but I know that Fallout Shelter is still actually solid and consistent and keeps a player base. So yeah, it could be, look, Capcom knows that Resident Evil is like by far one of its most beloved and most profitable IPs. So why would they not try to expand it a little bit more? They're taking some bold moves by going back to Raccoon City, which has been like a sacred place in their lore and story. Yeah, they're probably going, balls to the wall here. I wish them the best. We'll see how it turns out. I do think they're going to make a distinctly mobile experience. I don't think they're going to try and do literally anything like a console experience. I think it will be like a Fallout Shelter, an XCOM strategy thing. God forbid a Raid Shadow Legends kind of clone. God forbid, but it might happen. So that's the thing. We got Resident Evil, traditional. We're going to stay true to the franchise, but
Yeah, we know like the date of Resident Evil 9. I think it's February next year. So
yes.
probably this game will be launched much earlier. Did they announce it when? If it's going to be like 2025 or it's going to be 2026?
In here, he was just saying keep an eye out for later this month when they drop a little bit more on their social media channels. So maybe we'll at least get some like gameplay or at least a little bit more information as to what kind of game it is. But yeah, they'll be giving us some more information pretty soon.
Yeah, I can't wait. And we're going to be here talking about it.
Fuck yeah, we are.
100%.
Fuck yeah.
And when it launch, maybe we can like play straight away on day one. And we're doing streaming, so we're going to share our first impression.
I'm technically a part of like Resident Evil's creator ambassador club thing, so I might see. I'll have to check in my spam folder and see if they sent out any emails or something about it.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll see. See what's going on. What else is new in gaming?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Well. We saw like a lot happening around in Web3 gamings with a lot of games shutting down, but that doesn't stop Web2 gamings and traditional huge company lay off employees. And we saw that with Microsoft. Microsoft announced 9,000, I say again, 9,000 lay off this year. And that's pretty huge. And most of them, it would be like more on the Xbox gaming development house. And I was reading an article. I think they stopped the production of a couple of games. Like a lot of people send off. They say like they HR gonna try to help out most of the employees to like repositioning themselves or like giving the best goodbye ever.
Yeah.
But with Xbox making moves on portable consoles, because I think they announced it like not long ago, like they want to launch their portable consoles.
Mm-hmm.
They keep working on the Xbox Pass, Steam decks, whatever. How they gonna keep going? Like if they keep laying off workers and try to adding new things, and that's made me think Microsoft is trying to work more also with AI and try to make more AI based games maybe.
Microsoft is kind of fucked.
Shame on Microsoft.
Shame on Microsoft. Yeah, it's a big hit. Yeah, you got 4% of Microsoft's entire workforce they laid off. 9,000 people.
And that's come after they laid off more people. Like the last year, I think was another big layoff of 600 people, like no long ago, and one more last year of 1,000 people maybe.
So this one mentions that in May and in January of this year, they already had a whole bunch of cuts. And then in September, they had even more cuts. And then last year, there was the really famous thing where Hi-Fi Rush came out, was a absolute viral success, and then like the very next week, Microsoft shut down the studio that made it. Microsoft was like, hey, we need more small teams to create viral, new, creative games. And then boom, Hi-Fi Rush came out. And then the very next week, they were like, yeah, but try that again. So yeah, it's not great. And this article by Lewis Packwood, awful last name, but great opinion, Lewis, really touches on like over the last couple of years, what really what went wrong. A big thing, I totally forgot about this, that Microsoft bought Activision and Blizzard for almost $70 billion. Kind of forgot about that. That was like at one point one of the largest acquisitions in like business history. That was probably not a good move as a portfolio manager.
Also, because they didn't relaunch any of the old games, I think, from either of them.
Yes. You mentioned it. A whole bunch of games shut down. A bunch of studios shut down. We probably still won't know the full implication of this for another like week or two. It's a signal that Xbox, which is owned by Microsoft, not doing well. And you mentioned it. Xbox announced a handheld device a little while ago, and it seems like that's where Xbox is pivoting. Some people, I remember posting that from internal calls a little while ago that Microsoft and Xbox, the next Xbox is just going to be a computer. Like the next Xbox is just going to be an Asus gamepad that they slap Xbox on. It's just going to be a laptop that they just put Xbox on or something. Because Microsoft is I feel like Microsoft is done building computers and then building this other hard drive over here just for games. Microsoft is like, why don't we just make them one? Why are we making two different hard drives for gaming? Why don't we just make one hard drive for gaming? So I feel like this is a long-term goal for them, is to phase out Xbox hardware and to just lump that into computer hardware. Heard it here first, folks. You can quote me in 10 years.
When they launched the Xbox at the start, it was like giving people a console that is much more affordable playing than buying a full gaming computer.
Correct.
But now with the cost going up, the console is getting closer and closer to get cost the same for the gaming laptop or gaming or like a cheap gaming computer. So I think like, yeah, what you say is correct. Like Xbox try to pivoting more to make maybe new gaming laptop or gaming computers, especially for gaming. I like a little bit like MSI is doing for forever, like with their gaming laptops. It's one of the most famous branding like people like will use to play them. And I think with all the component and everything, probably will work out cheaper for them to a gaming laptop and use maybe Xbox controller, because the Xbox controller is what everyone will use if play any kind of games on their computer, their laptop. So I think that's what they want to do and like how they're gonna move forward. And I think they will abandon the Xbox console and going straight away to the computer, so. Maybe VR, maybe portable, maybe like they're gonna do gaming mobile phones. Who knows?
I think so. I think even just the last version of the Xbox, they tried to make it more than gaming. They tried to be like, it's an entertainment device because it's for streaming and it's for all these other things, not just gaming. Because, Xbox, and like this paragraph right here, given that the last two Xbox generations have been handedly outsold by PlayStation, the eye may be forgiven for wondering how next time might be different. Microsoft has always been a software company. Perhaps it is preparing to retreat into its safe place. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Also, this PlayStation is about to announce their PlayStation 6.
Which has been leaked a couple of times. And Sony has some big plans for moving in the future. They're not going anywhere. Maybe Microsoft and Xbox take the Google Chromebook route, which is instead of creating like a full-on laptop that has everything you need, you just create a Chromebook that has just like the most basics. You just surf the web, you just write some stuff, you use it for school and education, and that's it. And that's all you need. Maybe they create some sort of like super basic laptop that's like, it runs the best games, and that's it. You don't need to do anything else. You can't really do anything else. That's it. That's all it is. I don't know. But this is not a good, laying off 4% of your workforce. Not a good thing. What other not good things can we talk about, Timo?
Well, we are. Well, you were mentioning something like games for change.
Yes.
I like that's what we need. Games for changing.
Yeah.
Or changing of gaming.
So there's some look, I was going to touch on this subject really quick, but we'll do it super, super quick because it's boring and it triggers everybody. And every time I say the word, it just blah, 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 it doesn't fit with games. But politics are in games, and games are in politics. There's lobbying firms in the UK and in America that are designed to help video games get made or get funding for games or help regulation happen for gaming. So there's a couple of political things that happen in gaming, and it looks like I may have messed up the article, but there's a big organization in America called Games for Change, and they just had their Hall of Fame, Hall of Change event, and it was interesting. I'd never heard of them before. Games for Change, never heard of them before. They're a company that has produced games that have been played by hundreds of millions of people, but they're people in Africa and in India and in like rural South America, because they're games that are for education, and they're games that are meant to help people, avoid assault, learn how to find fresh water, learn how to trust medicine and get help and all this other stuff. And it kind of just made me like this last week really look more into politics in gaming. And then I saw this really interesting article on games industry about how Valve has blocked a mod on Mount and Blade because the South Korean government asked them to. And it made me wonder, like, how many times the American government has maybe asked Valve to do shit, and if I would even know about it being in America. But apparently someone made a mod that was like kind of a historical representation of a battle that happened in like the 1800s, where maybe the South Korean government maybe massacred a bunch of people. Maybe, perhaps, sort of. And the South Korean government was like, yo, we don't want the Gwonju movement to be immortalized in a game. And so Valve banned it. And it kind of made me I don't know. Like I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. It made me kind of look at like what are you allowed to do in gaming? What happens if government starts censoring stuff in games? Are different games censored in different countries?
Yeah, we saw a lot of games that inspired from history. Like one
Yeah.
of the most famous one is probably Assassin's Creed, where you have like all the history of like different countries and like remade it with all the assassins and everything, killing around. It was like big drama with the popes and stuff. But it's remained as a game, as a like most
Yeah.
of them is based on real facts. But everyone knows it didn't go like that. No one saw like an assassin climbing down from the Sistine Chapels and try to kill the Pope
Right.
back in the days. I don't think so. Probably Michelangelo would like drawing that as well. It was like this is the point with like a big arrow
That'd be
just
awesome.
between the two fingers. Just that. That's where it come down.
That'd be awesome.
That's what the two fingers are indicating. That's where it come down. Yeah, but we saw like other games like based like in antique Japan, like the Genshins and like other wars, like the wars in Vietnam was like in one games, and uh, Medal of Honor was another one. We saw like the Independence War, like the War of the Two Roses between England and
Yeah.
France. Like man, a lot of games was inspired from past wars, and I don't think it's like right from the government and say, oh no, don't do this one because it could be a bit dodgy. Just a bit like based on real facts, but part of it is fiction, so no one will know
That's a good.
what's real, what's not.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know the Wolfenstein games where it's like an alternate reality where Nazi Germany wins World War II.
Yeah,
Can you play those games in Germany? Can you play those games in areas in Europe? I don't know. Are they censored?
probably.
Are there different levels? Do they like take out some of the flags in certain levels and stuff? Yeah, I don't know.
They have Hello Kitty's pictures in that set.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's
Like,
all pink with a Hello Kitty.
like seeing this, and same with like I know there has to be a bunch with like Russian stuff. I know there has to be a bunch of stuff with like super censorship. But seeing this article made me realize like this is probably happening a lot. And if people are making politically charged games games for change, where they're making games that are about resisting a government, or they're making games about like how to actually get help or how to disseminate information without people listening to you, and then they turn it into a government. Like, I don't know, it just made me realize there's a whole world out there of like political games where you can give a message through a little game or a mod. And we in Web3 don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and also like there are a lot of government that pay and help schools for gamers. Like we saw like in the recent years, we have like university and college for developers, like to learn how to code and develop games. But we saw like a big ascending university and college for esport, where people go in this kind of schools, university to learn how to improve their gaming skills, how to learn more about games, how to create contents around games, how to marketing games, how to help game development, game designing, and all a bunch of things. And that is all pushed from government itself, so that even the government and know how important games is in the modern world. It's not anymore like something on the side where people were thinking, yeah, it's a bunch of nerds playing in the downstairs Dungeon and Dragon and stuff. No, it's becoming like an important and movement in the all modern societies.
Yeah, and it's good that they also teach the skills and the jobs that are like ancillary to gaming. Like they teach digital marketing or events management or stuff like that. It's good.
Right, if this university and colleges were out when I was younger, I was going there straight away. No double
Obviously.
thoughts. And that's how sure how old I am. And no one knows.
Yeah, man. Like kids these days have it so easy. Fuck them. Anyways, let's
Talking about young guys, there is like a 15 years old guy on X. I don't know if you ever heard about him. 31, 30, big gamer. He was one of the best player, actually still probably the best players in Favorable. He probably won the leaderboard like 3 seasons in a row, 3 seasons in a row, and he helping like all the Favorable team to develop their team. And it was something happened to him during this week. Did you heard about it this week, today?
Yeah, let's see. So, Mr. Vert1D, he actually is the top number 1 Fableborn player in the world. Congrats. He made a post this morning that said, "I'm about to get my first lawsuit because I fudded a certain game. Kind of excited. Hiding the name for my own safety. Sorry, not sorry." And then he shared the DM that the game wrote him, where they said, "You need to edit your post with, I made some defamatory and untrue accusations. There has been no scamming of any kind regarding the game. And some of the facts I reported were incorrect." End quote. "If you cannot edit your post, you must delete it immediately. We cannot accept having a post online that states something like, our legal team cannot overlook such defamatory statements." If only we knew what the game he was talking about was. And everyone kind of, shows up to support this guy because everybody supports this guy. Nobody wants to see a 15-year-old be bullied and say that they're going to be sued. How bad do you think?
I think it's pretty crazy. Like, I think it happened something similar with the other games where, like, a bunch of content creators like talked bad about the games or like said something it was wrong in the game, and like they take it very personal and like going against them. And bro, in Web2, like there are people talking shit about games like every 2 seconds. I think 31D have like maybe less than 2,000 followers. It's not like one of the massive content creator with a massive reach. I believe like if Cristiano Ronaldo with 110 million followers will wrote something, well, he would get a lawsuit straight away. But when he's a 15 years old kid, then probably can't drink beers yet. So he wasn't even drunk. I wouldn't accept. Maybe you get a little negative comments on your game or whatever. You just go through it. You just need to be a grow up person, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. It's kind of crazy.
Like I remember when Kingdoms Come, the first one, come out. Like it was so full of bugs and so full of bad stuff in it. Then every single content creator in the world was taking a mic off the game about how many bugs they had. Same happened with Cyberpunk when it first came out. Same happened with other games. And like what the games studios done is just show it up and launch it. Like Cyberpunk relaunched the game. Kingdom Come launched Kingdom Comes 2. Then I absolutely smash it.
Yeah.
Compared to the first one.
I think
and we see that like anyway, like companies need to take the criticism and make it as their own strength. And if they think like it's a scam, show up it's not a scam.
Yeah.
If you're asking, delete that. Don't tell everyone. Don't tell anyone. Like, guys, we be quartered. We be quartered. Shut up. It reminded me of the episode of The Simpsons where Homer Simpson like was writing like a bunch of fake information, and one time he put like the vaccine was made before Christmas, so everyone get like the shopping virus, and everyone need to go for shopping. And like they find out about him, and they reclused him in a isolated island, like where he couldn't spread the secret anymore. It reminded me of that episode. I don't know why. But if we see 31 disappearing, it's probably with Homer Simpson on an island in nowhere.
I think this is the mentality that unfortunately, many of the main people in Web3 have, which is if you say something bad about me, I'm going to intimidate you. I'm going to try and bully you, and then I'm going to try and threaten you. And most of these things are hollow. Most of these people are just wealthy assholes. They're just used to getting their way and no one actually calling them out for their shit. And when you call them out for their shit, this is how they respond. They just straight up tell you shit. They don't go, hey man, saw your post. Could we talk about it? No, they just say, you need to edit that. And if you can't edit it, you must delete it immediately. Our legal team, no, dude, fuck off with that kind of nonsense. Like, dude, it's the court of public opinion. I can say whatever the fuck I want. You literally have no grounds to sue anything. And Inhuman down in the comments wrote it good as well, that he said they don't have a case here, nor the funds to make it feasible to start throwing suits around. Rest in piss. Like, yeah, they don't have the money to even back up any of these insults. But to prove that this is the mentality of Web3 gamers, we have yet more Web3 gaming drama. You see, where are we at here? There's a company called Revolving Games that made War of Nova, and they've been in Web3 for a while. They're not blameless. They have a bit of good controversy about them, and they've definitely delayed their TGE a good bit. I'm gonna TLDR this shit for you. Lucky Trades is an investor. Amar Zaim, the CEO of Revolving Games. Lucky Trades gave money to Amar Zaim. Amar Zaim took that money and did shit that he wasn't supposed to do with it. And then he said, okay, sorry, Lucky Trades, I'll give you your money back. He said, I will give you your money back, Lucky Trades. I will give you your money back. Lucky Trades shared a bunch of DMs between them. All right, look, I'll create a group. Hey, just send me those wallets and I'll send you your money, right? Okay, and where do you want the money? Here, all right, here's where you can send the money. Okay, cool. And then he says, actually, I spoke to my lawyer. I will not refund. Go fuck yourself. These 3 lines are going to go so fucking viral in Web3, it's not even crazy. We're already making so many memes about this, and they're being posted all over the place. That is such a fucking nuts mentality. Let's work together. I'm sure we can find a resolution. Send me your wallet. I'll give you your money back. We can do a refund, whatever. We tried. And then actually, I spoke to my lawyer. I will not refund. Go fuck yourself. Great. Good times. So Amar, the CEO of Revolving Games, wrote a very long response to this thread. Trying to defend himself. Let me just say, if you have to write this much, you're not defending yourself very well. If you have to write this much, if you can't condense it down into like 2 paragraphs, you have to write an essay, you're not blameless, my brother. Yeah. Look, they're both in the wrong here because Lucky Trades gave $100,000 to Revolving Games without a contract. But when DMs of you drop and you say things like, I'll give you a refund, and then actually I spoke to my lawyer, I will not refund, go fuck yourself, that doesn't make you look good. That doesn't make you look good as a CEO when you already have a bunch of other controversy. So, I don't know, bro. It's been entertaining as shit, but I bet Lucky Trades probably isn't blameless. I bet both of these people have baggage. Welcome to Web3 Gaming. Welcome to Web3 Gaming.
And this kind of stories, like the previous one and this one with a Lucky Trade, is probably what make a lot of gamers, like traditional gamers, they come on Twitter, go here, okay, drama, okay, drama, okay, I'll go back playing games.
Yep.
Easy. Why they people want to get involved with this, like when they always need to play on the edge. Like, oh, I want to make a post, but I don't know what can I say of this? What I can't say of this. Like, bro, gaming is fun. Like,
yeah,
you get critics, you don't get critics. Well, you don't give 100Ks to a random person. That's general things. But the thing is, like, this is so much bad advertising for the whole industry.
Yeah.
Then it's not even worth it. Like, people like now, us two, We could talk about some good gamings. We could talk about off the grid moving to Solana because they don't have enough players on an Avalanche. But what we're talking is bullshit X thread then where
Yeah.
people are just blaming themselves.
Yeah.
That's incredibly wrong. We need to talk about gaming and gaming news. But in Web3, there are so many bad news at the moment. Then it make it like people like don't wanna come in. We saw 2TG this last week. We saw Trevor's, then he dumped it to the ground, and we saw before the week before the society one, then he went down to the ground, and everyone was like super excited. Oh, the new TGA, but everyone knew like why they doing TGA, and then most of games they don't need the token. They can just use USDC, or you can use normal fiat properly, and just make tradable asset, as we saying at the start of the episode. Make scheme, tradable scheme, connection between games, make like an ecosystem. Like I'm Immutable, the big gaming publisher. I have like 500,000 games under my names, but none of these games can fucking trade asset between each others. And they're all using the immutable password. Just if I use immutable password, make every single games adopting the other ones. Like if I lock something in one game, I can trade it in another game. So just use the native token. Don't make every single games under your umbrella launching other tokens on other chains, and they don't have nothing to do with your own chain, and make all these cows as an accessory. Like who want this?
They're not the investors want it.
And that was my rant.
No, I like the rants, bro. The investors want it. Like, they're clearly not doing it for gamers. They're doing it for investors. They're doing it for VCs. They're doing it for money. They're not doing it for gaming. It's fucking bitchy. It's fucking stupid. Shout out to Mizzy. You know, always giving a good take on the culture of this shit. Says about Amar's response to all this. He says, this jackass right here. Guys like Amar are exactly why I demand a contract for every deal and investment that I do in this space, and make sure that they get checked out by my lawyers prior to me doing anything. By lawyers, he means AI. Bro was so eloquent in public, but a different story behind the scenes. Yeah, bro, this is such a long, egotistical response, and yet behind the scenes, you can see his DMs. I spoke to my lawyer. I will not refund. Go fuck yourself. Great guy. You mentioned it. Guns is coming to Solana, launching in 2 days. You can now check out guns and gun shit on Solana, but they're doing it because, as you aptly noticed, they do not have enough players on Avalanche.
They don't have enough players probably on any chain. Like,
correct.
You need to aim to the Web2. They were aiming to Web2 players, and now they're moving token. They're launching on a separate chain, and they say, we're getting different chains, but with your token on Solana, you might be able to trade it on our marketplace, but it's not sure. Maybe. And after, if I have someone like noob to the space, just coming in the space, now nice, fresh, 14 years old, and I love playing off the grid, and when I buy like some new skin, okay, what should I do now? Should I have MetaMask with Avalanche, or should I have Solana wallet with Phantoms? What I'm doing? Okay, I'll go back to play Fortnite. It's much easier. I just click one button and done.
Yeah, that's a good point, dude. Yeah, you don't need to make this needlessly complicated. Like, yeah, if this isn't interoperable, if I can't seamlessly go from Solana to Avalanche, from Avalanche to Solana, what the fuck is the point? You're going to have two entirely different ecosystems? What the fucking fuck. Yeah, no, they don't have enough gamers on Avalanche. They don't have enough gamers on Avalanche, Solana, and Immutable combined. They just don't have enough gamers. And that's, you know, the narrative that's happening right now is that a whole bunch of Web2 creators came in over the last 6 to 7 months and took Web3 creators' job to show them how it's done. But the game still can't maintain a player base The Web2 creators, just like Web3 creators, can bring awareness and can bring some eyeballs, but then once players play the game for a little bit, they go, well, this is fucking stupid, and they leave. So, like, it comes down to the product. It comes down to the game. It comes down to what is being built. It's not about creators or marketing or if you go to a different chain or if you add this chain or do these NFT. Build a fucking better game, people. Stop building games for investors. Build games for gamers. Please and thank you. What else we got? What else we got, Timo?
Talking about like play off the grid, we saw like when players wanna play, they wanna keep the game. We saw like one game is closing soon. What's the name? Anthem.
Yeah.
Anthem is an EA games that people bought. Like you bought the game, it's like not free to play. You buy the game, and they're gonna close the service. So the player's not gonna lose just the account. They're gonna lose the account. They're gonna lose the game. They're gonna lose all the skin and whatever they bought in the game, all the money spent, and they're gonna close in 1 year. So in 1 year, the game's gonna be gone. So it's gonna be unplayable. Now, imagine this happening in Web3. Like people spending a lot of money for play off the grid, and when if they're gonna shut one day or they're not gonna shut, I don't know. But let's put the scenario they're gonna close, like other games they close. Yes, you have your asset on the blockchain. Your assets are yours, blah 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 blah. But you can't do nothing with them. What are you gonna do it? You can't use it in another game. Then it's the all things of block games. So it would be good if games, yes, launch a game, you make all the skin and everything, but after they start launching other games, we need like more development studios and publishers like EA, like Ubisoft. Then you launch a lot of games and you can make all the games kind of connect to each other. Like we know Ubisoft already launched like 3 games in Web3, and none of these games can be played between each others.
Right.
Which one was Champion Static, and after one of your favorite, Captain Loser Hawks, and is the other one the card games? Then I don't remember the name.
I don't either.
Then it is about to launch, but like between 3 games from the same company, there is nothing revolving around them. They're all like separate games and probably never see each other before. Well, Web3 and crypto gaming should be a pioneer on this, like changing things between one game to the other. Like I get bored from these games, I give my asset to someone else and I go to play another games. And it's not happening.
No,
it's not happening yet.
There's not enough freedom. There's too much control still.
Yeah.
Anthem's entire story is a real kick in the nuts, honestly, because it was a very ambitious game and it flopped from the moment it released, and it's always been a hard sell. Speaking of Ubisoft, hang on. First of all, speaking of Ubisoft, 3 former Ubisoft executives found guilty of sexual and psychological harassment, given suspended sentences. This is a really old legal case from literally 5 years ago, from before COVID. There's a whole bunch of stuff between Blizzard and Ubisoft that came out that their studios were cultures of like super sexism, super racism. Like all the women there had been harassed, if not assaulted. A lot of the dudes there were either like coerced into being assholes or like were now trying to like leave because they didn't enjoy the culture. Anyways, this lawsuit has been going on for 5 years, and they only just now found that these executives were guilty of sexual and psychological assault. And
that's why you launch a lawsuit, not a 15 years old talking bad about your games. But...
yeah, dude. Crazy shit going down in French studios, apparently. It's about $100,000 that all these guys collectively have to pay. They all quit 5 years ago, so they haven't been working for Ubisoft for a long time. But yeah, apparently there was an overwhelming amount of evidence of harassment against all of the employees, that these 3 execs were just assholes to everyone in the studio. So Ubisoft, not good. sentiment analysis. And then, yeah, we've got what the fuck is going on over here. Ubisoft and Libert AI bring AI voting to Web3 governance in Captain Laserhawk, the GAME. First of all, as a writer and an editor, what the fuck is GAME? Do we need to do that? Do we need to have, can we just, anyways. So this game came out a while ago and nobody plays it because it's a bad game and nobody cares about it. The NFTs aren't great. The gameplay's stupid. It's not good. So in order to combat that, the game is now implementing AI agents that will vote for players who don't vote. Because players don't vote because there's no one playing the game. So this is a way for them to artificially pump their numbers. And I'll see if I can find the quote. Oh, in governance, it's really complicated to engage if there are no concrete rewards. What he's saying is, in governance, it's really hard to get gamers to actually vote if we're not giving them anything for voting, if they don't get anything out of it. Because, who cares about voting on some governance proposal? Or, are we going to implement this with our business structure or this with our business structure? Gamers don't give a fuck, so they're not going to show up to the governance. So this is what they do. This is an experiment. It's them just artificially pumping numbers. Like now the AI just comes with default voting measures, but they made it. They can choose how the AI votes. So every gamer just has an AI agent now. When you make an account, you have an AI agent, and the AI agent votes for you and all votes if you don't vote because they need you to vote in order to do shit, and you won't vote. And I don't know if this is something we'll see in other games. I don't know. That would be crazy if this rolls out in like normal elections. If you have an agent and if you don't vote, the agent just default votes for you. That's weird. Stupid. Just stupid.
Bro, we talk about last week. We talked about how gamers were so pissed off when AI has been used to make images and translation of a game.
That's true.
Imagine going to tell to that same gamers like, oh, you know what? Now we got AI voting for you for decision for the games that you didn't have time to vote or you weren't bothered to. And the vote is what we're saying, what you want. Bro, that people gonna launch the game out from the window straight away.
And the kind of kicker about this is that this game takes place in a dystopian universe where AI has taken over everything. So it's just like,
well,
what are you guys doing?
They want to try to make the game reality, maybe.
Yeah, no, it's really not great. And look, the last quote is, everything is working as we wanted. Bruh. Somebody...
Yeah, of course. This the AI got default input to say, yes, sir. Whatever you say is fine.
Yeah, bro, man, fucking Web3 is just, more Web3 garbage. Here's a double thing. So I love GamesBeat, but GamesBeat now has 3 massive exclusive articles on their website right now that are all about shitty Web3 games. That's not a good thing. This is a massive exclusive about a guy that's now embroiled in a lot of drama. Here's a massive exclusive about a shitty game we'll get into in a second. And here's a massive exclusive about a shitty game. That's not good. That's not a good look, GamesBeat. I don't like that. They might just be taking money. But anyways, let's talk about Tainted Studios. Sorry, what's up?
Also, before you continue, I love how they pointed game and they also pointed void, where void doesn't need to be pointed. Maybe they don't know how to use caps up to put all caps in one together. So they put a dot so they automatically go up.
This is true.
That's the only reason.
Why is this here?
I can think why they done that.
I don't know, dude. Yeah, it must have been. Yeah, maybe.
So, if the writer there is on the left of the keyboard, caps lock, and you can write void without the dots.
Yes.
Just for the next article.
All right, man. Yeah. Anyways, so here's the void. The void is supposed to be like a survival horror kind of game. It's made by, says Think Left 4 Dead meets Diablo. It supposedly has a lot of people from Diablo's studio on it. But if we go look at their Twitter account, they joined 2 months ago, and they have 95 followers. And if we look at some of the stuff that they're putting out there, it is entirely AI generated character art that no one likes, that no one's getting anything about. I have to just, this is shit that would have been generated a year and a half ago by GPT, and they're putting it out here now, trying to be like, isn't this great? Isn't this awesome concept art for our characters? Even though he's not holding the staff properly, and even though his hand isn't generated properly, and what's going on there, and even though the staff is just floating, isn't this amazing? This is great art, guys. You should totally play this game. That's not a good sign. And now I'm a little suspicious of articles that I see on GamesBeat, because it seems like they'll just post fucking anything if you pay them enough money. And Void should not be paying GamesBeat money. They should be paying fucking artists to make characters for them. My rant is now over.
Yeah, that's 100%. And that's how we were saying earlier before, and earlier the other episode, how people just ranting because using AI to create art for games where they can employ artists. I know if it's a very, very little indie games and you put like a disclaimers, all the art has been made by AI because I don't have money for the artist. If the games take off, I would pay for one. And maybe people will say, oh, you know, this guy is by himself making a game. But at the same time, they got one army guys develop the whole bloody Balatro, and he never show his face as well. So he could be an AI cyborg from the future. No, not joking. But anyway, I don't know what this game is. It got like big names there: Hearthstone, World of Warcraft, Diablo, Gods Unchained, Big Time, Call of Duty. It looked like he went on ChatGPT and said, "Give me the first 3 Web3 games," and he got Unchained and Big Time. And after he got Overwatch, Diablo, World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, they are all different games each other. Like Diablo none of these games is similar to the other one.
Correct.
Like, they're completely different, like industry, different like gameplay, different mechanic of games. With definitely Diablo and Hearthstone are completely different.
This is it.
And
this
at
is
the
the
same
website.
time, World of Warcraft and Call of Duty is completely different. So, yeah.
This is the whole website, bro. This is all they have. They spent all that money on an article on GamesBeat, and this is their literal whole website. And if you're showing off that you have a team from Overwatch, Diablo, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, and Hearthstone, and then you're putting out AI fucking trash like that, clearly.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes when they put team work with, doesn't necessarily mean they were in the development team or like the main team.
Correct.
It could be the guy bringing coffee in every single of their games to the development team.
This is fair.
And he just said, "Oh yeah, I work with the team. I didn't work for the game. I work for the team."
That's what happened with Back for Blood. Back for Blood tried to say that we're a bunch of the developers from Left 4 Dead, and we're going to make the spiritual successor for Left 4 Dead. But they were none of the core developers. They were none of the people that actually worked on the mechanics and the good shit from Left 4 Dead. They were like the artists or like the character designers. And they're like, okay, we're going to go make our new game. It's like, that's not the same, bro. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's enough shitting on stuff. What about positive things? And are there any good positive shout-outs we can give this week, Mr. Demo?
I can't think of any. I can think like I say the other few days, like PUBG Party is the only games at the moment I'm playing.
Okay.
From a Web3 company, but the game is not Web3 yet. It's not out yet. And yeah, I'm still waiting for Project or to release something extra. They just literally doing like the playtest on computer, but they were saying they will launch mobile. Then it would be very interesting if they do something like Marble Snap, then place quick gamings and quite good mechanics. And I enjoyed playing Marble Snaps more than I'm enjoying playing Pokemon Pocket TG. I love opening the packets, but playing the games is completely different rules from the normal Pokemon TGC game. So some of the cards doesn't make sense, but yeah, people are having fun with that. can't find the same passion and Marvel Snap, I think.
Right on. I will.
And
There's a Project O game night coming up this week if you want to jump in for that. FYI.
yeah, might jump.
All
Let's
right.
do it. Let's play a few games.
Well, you know.
Hopefully it's at a decent time. It's normally they do like at 2 a.m. my time, so
Yeah.
I won't wake up for that. I would be like dead in my bed.
Yeah, it might be. It might not be a friendly UK time. We'll see. Otherwise, shout out to your TikTok that is actually still consistently out there doing stuff.
Yeah, still alive. Still trying things, posting few games, play Fortnite and other games like Pokemon or Pudgy Party, and also I posted something about Gsand. So you would know I was talking about Gsand before the today episode. So a little sneak peek every now and again. We need one. And hopefully we're going to have more Web3 gamings to play and post on it soon when they're going to be released.
Yeah, we'll
also,
see.
Today I was trying to go in Raven Quest Idle that it launched last week, 2 weeks ago. It was supposed to be on mobile and try to go in and was on browser and I couldn't start the game, so I gave up. I tried for more than 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes, I said, no, that's too long to try to make a game start.
Figures. Well,
What about you? Any positive news? Any shout outs? Anything you're looking after for the upcoming week?
Not really, bro. Not really. I'm kind of at arm's length with a lot of things. All of the projects that I really liked are like circling the drain. So even though I really enjoy them, I'm trying to not, I suppose, invest that much more or waste that much more time in them because they're not going to be around much longer. But I don't know. We'll see what comes next. We'll see what other games come out yet. We're already halfway through the year, more than halfway through the year now. This has been a pretty low point for Web3 gaming, but I guess we did have a very high point last year, so we couldn't just keep that going.
Yeah, last year was pretty up, and now it's kind of when most of the games that were really hyped last year, they almost all dead.
Yeah, no.
So we'll see how it's going, and definitely we can keep us entertained with more dramas on the Twitter and X, and it looked like almost like a Korean drama when everything happening like a Squid Games, like one episode after the other. You don't know who gonna shame before the other one, and we saw like all the drama last end of week with Kaido and yapping and everyone like get very upset with posting shit on X doesn't make you completely rich. We actually need to do stuff for it.
Yeah. You gotta work. You can't just use your audience and get a bunch of free money.
And tagging everyone.
And tag everyone for it, and then dump on them.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get rich soon, Demo. We'll get rich soon. Anyways.
Yeah. We don't need to be rich. I just want to enjoy good gaming. Who cares? Okay. Game is gonna games, rich or poor.
I will give you the games, and I'll take the money.
It's fine.
To all the people who showed up today and were sad yesterday, I appreciate you. I'm grateful to you. Thank you, guys. I will talk to you all soon.
And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channels. Put on the notification so you won't lose any episode. And follow both of us on X, TikTok, and YouTube, and wherever you can find us.
Yeah, what he said. And that's it.
Always.
That's all we got. Right, Demo? Send us off. Sir Demo. It's your job.
So, guys, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for listening all our shit talk another day about gaming, AI, technology, Web3, Web2, life, and so on. And I see you on the next episode. Juice guy.
Cheers.
Where's the camera?
Deuces. We'll see you guys.